August 23rd, 2023. A good day for Leafs Nation as the Maple Leafs and Auston Matthews officially put pen to paper on a 4-year extension worth $53 million. It's Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with you to break it all down. Rosie, I don't know about you. This sort of came out of nowhere. I don't know why they chose this day, but I won't lie. I'm pretty happy about it, bud.
Yeah, it was definitely random. We talked about it before, how they would probably think about when to release this, maybe right before camp, do something in the Nathan McKinnon type of department. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's not something that's obviously thought out and, manipulated. The guy put pen to paper, they released it. It's exactly how we should want it. And yeah, it's a random day because that's when they decided to get together and things came to fruition. He signed the paper and he's a Maple Leaf for at least the next 5 years now.
So the AAV is 13.25. It's pretty much the number that was speculated upon months ago, right? And the conversation was that Matthews wanted 3, the Leafs wanted 5. So I understand they met in the middle, but to me, it was a pretty easy negotiation. I don't know how much the Leafs had. It was pretty much Matthews' shot to call, wasn't it?
I think so. I mean, the Leafs are obviously going to want to re-sign this guy. He's a major talent, top tier type player. He's done things in the past, 2 years that have just never get done. Phenomenal player, first overall. The things he's done, he's very young. He's only been playing the years are stacking up a little bit, but he's a handful of years still, and he's done phenomenal things in his career already. The sky's the limit for this guy. Why they would do anything but try to lock them down would be insane. And, throughout our podcasts and talks and conversations, there's been nothing but the fact that we need to lock this guy down, and we knew what his number was, and the cap's only going up, we assume. And it all makes sense. There's no reason to be anything but grateful that this player is going to be locked down for the foreseeable future.
So he has 1 year left at 11.645 million bucks, 11.64 million, I should say. So it's going to be a record-setting AAV once it kicks in. I believe the McKinnon contract that he signed last summer kicks in this year will make him the highest paid player. And it's just going to continue on. This is a pivotal day and a pivotal win for the next player who's going to get paid, as we know, down the road. But, I just look and say, why can't there be a Maple Leaf that concedes? Or you look at the contract and say, wow, he actually conceded to win in Toronto, taking nothing away. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy about this. This means 5 more years of happiness for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You have a star player. He can go down as maybe the best Toronto Maple Leaf all time ever, period. I just, maybe it's the pessimist in me. I was thinking the other way. I'm like, why can't we have a guy sign an 8-year contract, maybe leave some money on the table? But I understand it's Auston Matthews, so I get it.
I don't know. It's not about leaving money on the table. You shouldn't have to ask your star players to leave
Yeah.
money on the table. Name, there's not very many guys that are like, I'm going to leave money on the table. And people forget that just because they have a bunch of money and they drive a fucking Lamborghini, who gives a shit? These
Yeah.
guys, once you get to that level, it's all relative. They think differently than you do, making your X amount of money per year than I do making X. It's all relative.
Yeah.
He has this skill set. He's banking on making this amount of money in his lifetime. He's banking on living this lifestyle in his lifetime. You're not just going to be like, oh, that extra $2.5 million Maple Leafs, you keep that just to make it
Take
easy.
it.
It doesn't happen. Just
Yeah.
like you wouldn't say, oh, that extra, 15% on my salary next year, you keep that because I want to be a team player. Nobody fucking does that. It doesn't matter what level you're on. And I would never expect anyone to do that. I don't care if you're Elon Musk or if you're the
What a
so and
random name.
so cleaning up garbage at some park. It does not matter to me. You're not going to leave money on the table. You get paid what you're worth. And that is totally fair to me. I would never ask a guy to take a haircut. But what it makes me do is look at the core four. What are we getting paid? What is the cap going to go up to? I mean, we thought it was going to bump up this year. It kind of did, not really. Maybe it doesn't go up as much as everyone thinks. But I look at it and I'm sitting here, and the thing that shines out to me more than what William Nylander needs to make or get signed for is John Tavares making 11 million fucking dollars. And it's like, you want to talk about a guy who could have taken a discount, a hometown discount,
True.
end of his career, has made lots of money. $11 million for John Tavares. I'm a fan of John Tavares. He's a good leader. He does some special things, but he's not $11 million. Like, shave $3 million off of that, and there's your Nylander contract. It's a
I'm not
done
gonna
deal, but that's eating it so bad in my mind.
I get it. Like, I'm not defending the contract, but like, don't forget, COVID was like a big barrier in the way, right? The salary cap might be at a different level right now. I not even might be. It would be at a different level right now had COVID not hit, and we're finally getting back to that territory. I would say respectfully, I disagree. I think you look at a variety of different players around this league who have probably achieved more than Auston Matthews, have taken less. Matthew Tkachuk makes $9.5 million per season, man. Like, it's out there. There seems like there's a Toronto tax. And my biggest problem with this, Leafs players never sign 8-year deals. Like, every fucking player in this league signs an 8-year contract extension. I don't care who it is. Then it's always like 5 or 4 or 3 for Toronto. And it is what it is. Like, this is me not bitching and complaining. Like, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic, man. It's 5 more years of Auston Matthews in his prime. He's going to be 30 when this contract is done. I'm just trying to figure out why it's never the Leafs who win out. And maybe the precedence was set by the previous guy who was in charge here in Kyle Dubas.
So would you be happier if it was an 8-year deal?
Yes, it would mean more Auston Matthews in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Those things just scare me, man. Like, 8 years is
yeah,
so far away. So much can happen. You look at the contracts that are signed that get bought out after 5 years, and there's this massive AAV with 3, 4 years left, and they get bought out, and it puts them in this bad position. I don't like looking to the future that far.
yeah.
I know it's nice to lock up this phenomenal talent for that long and say, oh, we got him for this long, but fuck, it almost seems like more often than not, teams shoot themselves in the foot by extending themselves that far down the road. You don't know what the landscape's going to be like. You don't know what this player is going to be like. You don't know anything in 3 years, let alone 8 years. So I don't mind this 4-year deal. Let's tickle him in 4, see what he does, see what we can do. And you know what? If the landscape says that, we lock him up for another 4, there's your 8, and whatever makes sense at the time will make sense. But I don't mind that it's 4 years. It's a nice number. It's a nice, solid number where you're going to see what this guy can do for the next 4 years. I'm happy with it. And if it was 8 years, I wouldn't be any happier, I don't think.
Yeah, but this guy's a bona fide stud. Like, he's in elite territory. There's a reason why he's got the most goals in the NHL since he came in, 299 and 481. I think Ovechkin's at 297. Like, that speaks to the company of Auston Matthews. Like, he's in that McDavid conversation. He's in that Draisaitl conversation. There's a reason why he's in that convo as a top 5 player in this league. Because I totally agree with you. Like, who knows what can happen in 2 years from now? But like, there's no sure thing in pro sports anymore, but I can tell you Auston Matthews is going to score a shit ton of goals next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that. Like, this guy's 4 straight 40-goal seasons. That was my only reservations with the contract. Again, we're not shocked. I don't know about you. I'm not shocked. Like, this has been speculated upon for like 4 or 5 months now. It's come to fruition. I'm happy they got out of the way before training camp even gets underway. And now we can shift our focus to Willie Nylander, right?
Yeah, we can. And
What'd you
I
make of
just,
his comments, by the way?
they're typical.
What's he gonna
They're
say?
token.
Yeah.
So token. I want to be a Maple Leaf. I
Yeah.
want to fucking care. Like, what do you think he's gonna fucking say? Every time something like that comes out, it's like your agent might as well have written that. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. It doesn't, like, tell me what he's saying when he's a bottle of wine deep with his fucking best friend on the
On
couch.
a
That's
podcast.
what I want to hear. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear some tweet that is freaking agent okayed. It's useless. It's meaningless. I don't even read it, to be honest with you. I don't even know word for word what he said. I just saw it in passing and said,
I got it
"Oh,
for you.
here's a token bullshit fucking answer." Of course, he's gonna. What do you think he's gonna say? He wants to sign the most possible money. I'm sure he wants to stay in Toronto. I'm sure he would love to get $13 million as well and just be done and sign and stay in Toronto and stay in his house and his friends and everything's set up for him. There's no reason for him to leave. I don't think he hates it. If he wanted to leave, he probably would have. It doesn't mean much that he says those things. What I'm thinking is, can we even get this guy? How do you make it fit under the cap when you got Tavares for 11,
True.
and go through the lines? How do you make Nylander fit in that world? It's just, that's the reason he's not signed right now, is he says, I'm worth this. And they're saying, well, we only want to give you this. And it's miles apart. I don't think we're going to get him signed. I don't see how.
A big portion of the media, as Rosie referenced, are in Europe right now for the European Player Media Tour. I know Willie Nylander spent some time as well with Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman of the 32 Thoughts podcast, essentially saying, I want to be in Toronto as long as I can. That's just where my mind is at. He pretty much went on to say there's no urgency in making a contract right now, but he wants to be a Maple Leaf. But again, like, what is the guy going to say? And I know there was some hoopla. People were like, holy shit, did you hear what Nylander said? Like, he said nothing. What is the guy going to say until he signs? Having said that, Rosie, I think you would agree. Again, I think the negotiation with Matthews is pretty simple. I think the Nylander one is way more complex. I don't know if you agree.
It is, and it comes down to the cap, and it comes down to the
Yep.
core four, and what do you have left? And I'm these big. I mean, when I was playing 7 mil for Dion Phaneuf and
Exactly.
Phil Kessel, that was the top ticket, man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Crosby signed his 8.7, and he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he's Sidney Crosby. That
Mm-hmm.
was like unheard of, and now we're blasting up to 13 some $million. It's getting freaking crazy. Yeah, the cap's going up, but I feel like it squeezes other players down, those mid to low level guys, those $4 million guys. It squeezes them down. It just pushes it all down. And when you got four guys that are up in that era, with the Marner and the Matthews and the Nylander and the Tavares, they're the core four. And I just keep saying, what is the most valuable guys are that? Obviously, Auston Matthews is the guy, like you just said. His numbers speak for themselves. He's going to score 1 billion goals in the future. And I just keep coming back to John Tavares at 11. If he was at like 8, he's kind
I
of in
know.
the twilight. He's not as fast and dynamic as these guys. Yeah, he's got leadership qualities, which I appreciate and value, but it's just like he's crunching up that number, like the gap that Tree Living in the Maple Leafs and Shanahan have between themselves and Nylander, that gap, it should be taken up by John Tavares. He should be eating that gap. He should be down where he should be value wise. He's over fucking paid. I'm sorry. At $11 million, it's too high. And because he's too high, we're not going to get Nylander signed. That is where I think we are. I do not care what he says to the media or to Elliot Friedman. It is so fucking irrelevant what he says. He's saying he's going to say everything. I love the city. I love the
Yeah.
fans. I love the
PR
media. It
game.
doesn't matter. He's
Yeah.
saying, pay me what I'm fucking worth, and you're not offering me that. That's why I'm not signed right now. And if you don't offer me that, I'm probably not going to be a Maple Leaf. However that shakes out. Maybe they go on a run and they win the cup and they lose him for nothing. Maybe they trade him at the deadline. Maybe they trade him in November. I don't know. But they're not going to get William Nylander signed, and it kind of bugs me because he's one of the guys that I think, God damn it,
Mm-hmm.
he is I like him more. I think he's more valuable than certain players on the team, and I think we're going to lose him because of the money they've thrown at guys, not Auston Matthews.
And to clarify, this is not on Johnny T or his agent.
No,
You're
not
chasing
at
that
all.
money. This is on the previous regime. Not to throw stones at Kyle Dubas. He did some great things for this franchise, but he set the pecking order, didn't he?
It's nothing against John Tavares. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking him. I don't dislike him.
Yeah.
Nothing about that. I'm just saying John Tavares is what he is. I appreciate him. I like him. I like all the things I just mentioned about his skill set. But at $11 million, I'd rather have that at 8.5, and there's an extra 2.5 for William Nylander. That's just so obvious to me. But it can't. What's done is done, and because of it, that $2 million, you can't just bump the cap. It is what it is. You're not going to get Nylander done. And I hope I eat my words, and I hope they pull some magic, and I hope Tree Living does something wild and pull some shit off. But I don't know what that is that you're going to get done. That's you have to move shit around, and it's going to hurt the team if you're going to make it done. I just don't think we can get it done.
Rosie, here's the question for you. So a year from now, you know who is eligible for a contract extension. It's Matthews' buddy, Mitch Marner. I ask you right now, would you pay Mitch Marner a cent more than 13.25 million a season? Because I fucking wouldn't. And you know he's gonna ask for 14.
Oh fuck! Based on what?
Exactly.
How do you ask, how do you claim you're worth more than Auston Matthews? To be honest with you, right now, I was going to go into the conversation of, okay, Auston, you got your contract. The numbers that you just said are up there with Ovi, the most scored since he's been in the league. Like phenomenal stuff. That's awesome. You have proven yourself. You've gotten paid. Okay, where do we go from here? I need you to earn that fucking contract
Mm-hmm.
by producing in the goddamn playoffs. You have to become Nathan McKinnon. You have to put the team on your back. You have to be a workhorse. When you're down with 5 minutes left, you have to score the tying goal, and then you have to get the fucking go-ahead goal in game 5. Like, you have to step up and make this franchise what it wants. That's what everyone who gets paid those huge dollars, it just translates from the regular season, and it just goes into the postseason. And if you have a team that's capable of doing it, they go on this huge run and they damn near win the cup. But this losing in the first round bullshit and absolutely lighting the fucking tits off the league in the regular season, and then just not really being there in the playoffs, that can't happen anymore. I want you to earn your money, and I want everyone to just yell hallelujah for this contract, because he is going to be a huge main piece to bring us to the promised land, whether that's a cup or not. But I need some conference finals, Stanley Cup finals. I need you to be leading the league in playoff points and goals. I need you to be a fucking truck. I need you to just work in the corners and steal pucks and lay guys out and be a truck in the corner that no one can take the puck from. I don't like this perimeter bullshit and hoping you get your cookies on the side with a whole bunch of space. It doesn't fucking fly in the playoffs, and I hope they've learned that. And you got 13 million fucking reasons now to say, I'm ready to go rock and roll. And part of the reason I didn't like the 8-year deal is, I don't know, these players these days, when they get that 8-year deal, it's kind of like, what country club am I going to be a part of now? And, you know, I like that 4-year deal. Like, fuck, 4 years goes by fast, man. And is your stock going to be higher than it was today, or is it going to be lower? And what you do in the playoffs is going to determine that, Auston Matthews. And I'm just excited for him to fucking be a bull and go fucking prove that, I hope.
I could not agree more. It's time to go out and prove it. Like, the Leafs stick out their neck. They pay you what you want. You're a Leaf for the next 5 years. You're going to be UFA at 30. You can still hit that 8-year contract. Everything's looking good for Auston Matthews. The tweet, the Instagram, we're feeling good in Leafs Nation. So Auston Matthews, a 4-year contract. Now the focus shifts to Willie Nylander, and of course next summer to Mitch Marner at the Leafs Nation 401, where you can subscribe on YouTube. For Jay Rosehill, I'm Nick Alberga. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Talk soon.